Both men had passed a football a long way in their lifetimes. Their career totals would eventually top 40,000 yards for Unitas and 27,000 yards for Namath. But on this particular Sunday afternoon, the two adversaries were not thinking of records. Victory was all that mattered as they stood toe-to-toe and fired spirals until the air was blurred with footballs. When it was over, both men stood with pistols smoking, and the big winners were the fans who had witnessed a legendary duel by two of football's all-time great shootists. This is the way it happened.
In the first quarter, both teams would score only once. Namath tried to run John Riggins early, but he knew he'd have to pass because the Colts defense is practically invincible against the run. Even his first pass was off, one of the few he would throw to Don Maynard, one of the few he would not complete. The Colts have a strong pass rush even without the injured Bubba Smith, and on third down, they almost caused a turnover, but Namath's arm went forward and it was ruled an incompletion. So the Jets' first series went nowhere. On his second series, however, Namath began his incredible day. His plan was not only to pass, but to pass medium to long. His first completion was significant because the man who caught it was Ed Bell, the Jets' 5'9" wide receiver, who some thought was too small to make it. 3 plays later, behind perfect protection from number 75 Winston Hill and the rest of the line, Namath went for Bell again deep, and the result was 6 points on a 65-yard touchdown. On a repeat of the play, watch Namath's pocket form on his quick drop back. The pass was perfect, allowing Bell to slow up and catch it while both Colts safeties, Rick Volk and Jerry Logan, slipped, and Bell outraced Charlie Stooks to the end zone. It was unusual enough to see the Colts' deep zone beaten for a touchdown at all, let alone this early in the game. But it was only the beginning. The point after failed, and the Jets led 6-0. The Colts' first quarter was rather similar. Unitas tried his short game early, some runs and short passes to his setbacks, but the Jets' defense was ready, and led by the return of number 81, Jerry Philbin, was defensing the Colts well early. With Philbin and John Elliott back, along with John Little and Mark Lomas, the Jets' front four is strong and would pressure Unitas for most of the game. On a repeat, watch the Jets' Philbin beat his man Dennis Nelson to Unitas for the sack. In a game where passing was so paramount, the line play often goes unnoticed, but is of course just as important as the pass and the catch. With Unitas still unsuccessful running Tom Matty and Don Nottingham, who was starting for the injured Norm Bulash, he too began passing more often. The Jets' secondary figured to be their weakness with 4 young starters, none of whom had more than 3 years' experience. But the Colts have inexperience at wide receiver, and rookie Cotton Spire, number 28, couldn't hold this one in bounds. So Unitas decided to use Tom Mitchell, his tight end, and Mitchell led a Colts drive downfield near the end of the quarter, dragging his smaller defender, Phil Wise, for a first down on the Jets' 40. Then came the equalizer, a play the Jets last saw in the Super Bowl. They didn't see it then, and they wouldn't see it now. The flea flicker from Unitas to Matty, back to Unitas to Sam Havrelak would have backfired if Unitas hadn't made the best catch of his career. In the Super Bowl, Earl Morrall didn't see Jimmy Orr all alone and threw an interception that turned the game in the Jets' favor. This time it worked to perfection, and the Colts took a 7-6 lead. Then on the last play of the quarter, the Colts would get a chance to increase the lead as Roy Hilton pinched in from the right for a rare sack of Namath. The Colts recovered, and the first quarter ended with Baltimore's defense looking as tough as ever. They had really given only one bomb on which two defenders slipped, and they now gave the Colts offense the ball on the Jets' 27. But from here, a problem the Colts had on opening day, and one they would have in this game, became evident. Unitas couldn't take the team into the end zone. 3 plays failed, and they settled for a field goal and a 10-6 lead. The next time they had the ball, the same thing happened. Unitas to Mitchell took them between the 20s, as Mitchell, the man who forced John Mackey to be cut, often was open, getting between the cornerbacks and safeties. But again, the Jets' defense tightened up near the goal. Mark Lomas, number 84, got to Unitas on second down from the 18. And on third down, seeing Tom Matty covered, Unitas turned and went for Spirer, but sophomore Rich Sowles, number 46, saved a score. The Colts again settled for a Jim O'Brien field goal. But this was the second straight series they came away with 4 points less than they could have, a fact which would be forgotten in the barrage of yardage that was to follow. The barrage started on the Jets' next series. Namath figured passing medium and long was his only chance, and here he went to Rich Castor, his tight end, who would loom even larger in the second half. On the play, the Jets' chances seemed to diminish, however, when center John Schmidt had to leave with an injury. Schmidt is perhaps the key man and most adept man in the line at protecting Namath, and the Jets have to use a backup guard to replace him. Schmidt's absence may have demoralized the rest of the line, for on the next play, we can see that Namath almost didn't get the pass off. But let's see what happened on the play. It's a testimony to how great Namath really is, although you never could tell from Namath's reaction to the event. On the play, Roy Hilton got his hand up in Namath's face, but Joe Willie fired a perfect 40-yard strike to set back Riggins, who easily beat Lonnie Hepburn to the goal, answering any doubts as to John Riggins' speed. The Jets had tied the score at 13. New York then kicked the ball into the end zone, but was penalized, and Howfield had to kick again. It proved to be a 100-yard penalty, for Don McCauley took the gift kickoff all the way. McCauley's speed, too, has been questioned, but this return seemed to answer that issue and put the Colts back on top, 20-13. Although the kicking game would be overshadowed by other facets, it continued to play a key role. And the band played on. The band played on for Joe Namath on the following series, as he again dared the Colts zone to stop him. And Eddie Bell once again was there, 40 yards downfield between defenders Logan and Volk, two of the best in the game. But Logan and Volk were up against the best in the game, and on the next play, again having all the time in the world, Namath found Don Maynard for his only catch of the game, a touchdown. On a repeat, we can see that linebacker Ray May was now trying to stop Eddie Bell at the line, fearing him the most. So this time Namath crossed them up by going for Maynard, who had slipped into the open area in front of the safeties, and Namath again hit his target perfectly in stride. As a stunned Mike Curtis and the Colts defense tried to figure out how to solve their problems, Unitas's offense lasted one play after the score. Sacked by Philbin, Lomas recovered for the Jets on the Colts' 10, in another key play by the defense, which would perhaps be forgotten. Namath hadn't thrown too many 10-yarders in this game, but this one, like the 40-yarders, also came quick and easy. Rich Castor screened out Logan and made the catch. In just 3 minutes, the game had seen 4 touchdowns. Namath had thrown 67, 28, and 10-yard scores in the span, giving him 4 for the half, good for 281 net yards passing against a secondary that normally gives up 3 or 4 touchdown passes in a season. But John Unitas has seen a lot of games come and go, and he's the master of the 2-minute drill, even at 39 years old. Sure enough, he led the Colts downfield with a couple of passes, a short one to Tom Matte, and a beautiful bomb to Sam Havrilak, who easily beat Early Thomas and went out on the Jets' 4. But here again, the Colts faltered, with time for 2 more plays and a chance to tie. First, a major penalty on this incompletion set them back to the 19. Then on the final play of the half, O'Brien shanked a 27-yarder, and the Colts went into the locker room down by 7. In as wild and wonderful a first half as perhaps ever seen, there were still 30 more minutes of a history-making showdown. You really got